For all you hams out there that do POTA, do you really know what the K means for each park you activate or hunt in the US? Kilo. Nope, just kidding. But tonight we are going to discuss Erica and myself working towards the Kilo Award from Parks on the Air. What is a Kilo Award? How about 1,000 contacts in one park? Have you done it, tried it, or is this just too many contacts for one park? We're in the middle of doing one, and tonight you will hear our thoughts and experience so far. Hello, and welcome to Live Free and Ham podcast. Our bi-weekly show explores ham radio topics in New Hampshire, New England, and beyond. Whether you're a regular listener or a first-time guest, we are excited to have you here and appreciate your support. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. Let's get into today's show. I'm your host, Todd, call sign W1SDJ, and my co-host, Eric, N1JUR, joins me.
Hey, how's it going?
Ryan, W1SNH, our other co-host, is unfortunately flying again, but he'll be back soon. Before the show discussion, we always like to catch up and let our listeners know what's been going on and where the Live Free and Ham crew will be. Every month, we will host our live stream on our YouTube channel. We'll update our socials and website, and live shows varies monthly. But if you subscribe to our channel, you'll get notified where we are live. All right. Eric, what's been going on with you today in ham radio lately since our last episode?
Well, for me, it's been an interesting road to travel. I finally got my shack back to square one and got it implemented with SSDR and FT8 and just been playing some 10 meters and enjoying the 10 meter the openings when we have them. And so haven't made any successful crazy contacts, but it's been fun to be able to talk to Europe and Spain and all of those areas on 10 meters, and they're like 5.9 plus signals. So it's been a blast to make those contacts, and I'm just enjoying as much as I can play radio. And I did an interesting I got an invite to go do a presentation on a POTA or a presentation on POTA at a club I was a member of way back in my young teenage years. So I really enjoyed meeting those guys, walking through memory lane a little bit, and they came out of that with a total on fire. They want to go out and activate as many parks as they can. So I'm hoping to get a couple of emails soon with folks ready to chomp at the bit and go out and maybe do their first activation and whatnot. So I'm super excited that that presentation was a blast, and I had a few other friends from the club come down and support, so it was all good. So yeah, it's been radio filled week, but at the same time a very busy one.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wanted to come down and check that out with you, but I had to work, so I caught Tim AC1
You-
QDK on the ride to work, and I was like, "What is he doing up? He's normally in bed by like 7 o'clock,
I
seven
know.
thirty." So he was giving me all the details, so that's good. Uh,
Very cool.
myself, myself, I've been doing. I've been messing up my shack. I've been getting some new equipment for the podcast. Trying to fix up my computer and get things squared away. So right now my shack is a disaster, but I'm hoping to have it all done within a week or two, at least not completely done, but at least done to where I feel comfortable being in it. It's not such it's not such a mess.
Not an
Um,
explosion of wires and radios.
yeah, and then you were talking about working 10 meters and stuff. Unfortunately my streak of Australia on 20 meters in the middle of the night has just died. It's not there
Mhm.
anymore. No one's on 20 meters in the middle of the night, so the radio has been pretty boring. Uh, Closer to the early morning, I see Japan and stuff pop up on POTA, but I can't hear them, and most of them are on 20 or 40 meters, so it's not really.
Yep. Yeah,
But
it's not that great, but
but
it
I had
so
fun when I was working New Zealand and those guys all night long, so that was a good experience. But I'm hoping it comes back soon because I am getting bored at work.
So what's okay, fine. New Zealand might not be your go-to all the time, but you got to be able to still take advantage of the fact that 40 is probably still alive for you, and from a sideband
Yeah,
perspective.
but in the middle of the night, 40 is like 80. It's just a bunch of guys talking a bunch of junk, and they're
Well,
just like angry.
you true.
Maybe I should just get on the air and it's like, "Hey, guys, 80 meters is wide open."
Yeah, that or you can call CQ and see what happens.
Yeah,
That's the
maybe.
other option.
Yeah, maybe I'll play that game next time I work. I think I'm working Tuesday night, so we'll try that.
Cool.
Anyway, so tonight we're going to talk about you and I working on our kilo at the Nashua Rail Trail Park. Uh, we've been we were on a roll. We were kind of going back and forth. I think we're all both around like 500, so we're like halfway there. But I
Yep.
haven't been there in months. I didn't go all summer. I think the last time I was in there like early spring maybe. Um,
Yep.
and
I do
it's
I do
close.
remember you activated at least once. I mean, but that
Yeah,
was about it.
it was a while ago. So just to kind of go over kind of what how this happened with us is this is a park that is close to my work. It's located in Nashua, New Hampshire. It also goes down into Mass, but we were activated in Nashua right at the beginning of the rail trail, and there's a nice little pond, and you can pull right up to the pond. And basically, I activate out of my Jeep. Sometimes we bring a table. Sometimes I just activate out of the Jeep and set the chair out. And easy park to get contacts. I've worked Alaska all the way from there in the middle of the day, 20 meters. Uh, it's just a good park and it's easy and it's close and I can do it on my lunch break. The problem is when I was doing it before and I was cranking in these contacts, I didn't have a lot to do at work and I haven't had lunch in a while. So that's why I haven't been activating the park as much. But I was talking to Eric about doing this park, and Eric was doing the park too. It was one that we've done together in the past. We noticed that we were kind of neck and neck with how many contacts we made, so we agreed to let's work this park together, separately and together, to get 1,000 contacts.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say most of the one thing that I kind of was, I'm just gonna pull up here real quick if I can try to do this here for silly. Obviously, on the podcast world, you won't be able to see this, but from a standpoint of our park information, we've got. I think what looking at the numbers, we're tied for total number of activations. You're just squeaking by with about 60 or so additional, probably 60, five contacts more than I have. But from a standpoint of dominating. Like you said, mentioned earlier, we're like literally almost a little bit more than halfway there. I mean, you kind of do the calculations in your head roughly if based off the calculations of, okay, if you get like 30 contacts in an hour, or if you're lucky to activate in an hour, you could probably get it done in 20 sessions, which is not too bad if you're good. But I think in our planning for a kilo, we should kind of break this down. What do we want to do? Like, do we want to try to see if we can plow through this with a winter, or do we want to just, make these plans now with the intention that when it gets warmer, that we're going to do it?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm not going to be sitting outside in the cold
Oh, you
when
and me
it's
both.
snowing out. Maybe I could do it. I could do it in the Jeep, and I could do that. That's not a big deal. So, I mean, I
Yep.
figure I'm going to do it. If it's a nice day out and I get a lunch break, I might go and try to activate. Get 10, 20 contacts. Nothing too fancy. But one of the things that the reason we're doing this podcast and talking about this is when Eric and I were talking about it, we kept going back and forth on who had the most contacts, whatever. We agreed as friends that when we get to close to the kilo, that we're going to go and activate it together and get the kilo at the same time.
Yeah,
Um,
we're gonna one that up too. I think if we get to that close to the kilo, we'll live stream from that park too.
Yeah, yeah, we'll live stream and we'll try to get to the same numbers, and then we'll start and do two operators and uh and try to get that done. So it's been kind of fun. I normally call him and I tell him, hey, I operated the rail trail and I got 30 contacts and he'll tell me, yeah, I was there. I'm going out there this afternoon and he'll tell me he got like 30 or 40 contacts. So we're trying to keep it close, but it's been fun and it's an easy it's probably just a really convenient park, I think. And I think that's one of the things we have to do when you're thinking about doing a kilo at a park. One, it has to be kind of easily accessible and it needs to be kind of close to where you're normally at because you don't
yeah.
want to be driving an hour to go do 20 or 30 contacts and then come back.
It was funny you say that because, like, a lot of these activators that are out there that are doing park activations for like an hour or two. Like, I finally, I didn't mention earlier, I finally, nabbed my DC contact for my worked all states as a hunter. So,
About
Hopefully,
time. You've been
I know.
working on that since I've known you.
This one hunter I know he was there for literally like I looked the ham alert when it popped up, and literally like an hour and a half, 2 hours later, I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot. Let me go check to see if he's still on FT8." And lo and behold, he was still activating. So a lot of these guys are, spending a good 2 to 3 hours, which you and I both know we live busy lives and we're crazy, So our activations are kind of like get in, get out, and if we're lucky within 40 minutes and conditions are sweet, we can get 20, 30 contacts. Maybe we might get the perfect storm one time that all of a sudden we got 60 contacts because the band conditions are just crazy, and you're just in the pile up zone all the time. So there's always something that, we can get lucky with those. But I did, it's funny, I did a calculation for another park that I'm just right around 700, and said, okay, if I set my goal, and this is kind of like one of those like typical like and this is almost like a New Year's thing. Sadly, I mean, this or it could turn into one. Is like, oh, we'll just we'll do our New Year's goals of losing weight. Well, my New Year's goal is going to be like I want to activate that one park 13 20 to 30 contacts every day for the next 14 to 20 days or whatever the number boils out to, and see if I can achieve that goal. Because I started strong, and I think both you and I were just kind of like, doing this as a fun park. But what we ended up seeing was is that we were doing it more often because it was just a really good park, both for RF conditions and we weren't in the throes of major traffic or having to struggle to find a good parking spot. And there's a lot of things on the positive side of that park that I think we benefited from to get where we're at.
Yeah, so this park is it's located it's a bike trail basically, and it goes from Nashua and it goes all the way down into Mass. I don't even know how far it goes.
Yep,
It goes a while.
it's
I
a
think
13 to 15 mile trail, so it's pretty
yeah, I
long.
think I biked at one time when the kids were little. I think I did half of it
Mhm.
and then I had to come back. So I did half of it and back. So that's kind of like doing the full thing.
It's all flat. I mean,
Yeah,
get
yeah, it's flat. People rollerblade, they walk their dogs, they ride their bikes, walking people show. So it's a nice little, and at the beginning of it, there's a little pond and a little information thing, and a lot of people meet up there. There's a small parking lot, but what's kind of cool about it is kind of like right outside a neighborhood. Like to get to it, you drive through this neighborhood, and then all of a sudden it's there.
Mhm.
And there's some trails in the back around a thing. I've brought my son and his friend. I wanted to activate, and were you? I think you were with me, and they went fishing. Were you with me that
Oh,
time?
yeah, that was one
Yeah.
of the, yeah,
Yeah,
activations, yep.
one of the times we went. So they go out and they go fishing and we play radio and I can see what they're doing, make sure they're not jumping in the pond or whatever. So but yeah, so it's a cool park and it's literally 5 minutes from my work. So when I get an hour, I can I can get down there, I can get up, set up, get my 20 contacts in, 10 whatever it's gonna be, and get out right I'm back at work, within an hour. So that's basically how I've been doing it. But yeah,
Yeah,
what is that? It's
so
Kilo 8396. It's called the Nashua River Rail Trail State Trail, and the marker on the map shows it in, Massachusetts, but where we're activating it is just on the border of Massachusetts in Nashua.
well, technically, we gotta remember this coincides with the rule in POTO where it is a rail system or a trail system. So anywhere along that trail, whether it borders multiple states, and the way this park works is actually there's, I think 2 locations currently on the when you go to pull it up, you're an activator because I've run into it before where, are you in the New Hampshire side or you're on the Mass side? And some hunters will actually ask for that, when you're activating for it. But overall, it's a very, it's a great location. I wish I could pull up Google Maps here, and I'll probably try to do that if you're watching online. The details, as Todd said, it's pretty much a wide open parking lot. It's really the trailhead for like the bike path. So when you pull into the parking lot, there's plenty of space to kind of just set up, and there's a nice little like reservoir, lake around that you just can set up on off the beaten path, and nobody will ever bother you. Or if people do wander by, they're not gonna get entangled in your antennas or anything like that. So it's a great spot, definitely in the spring, summer, or early fall.
Yeah, it's a great spot, and it's, sometimes it gets crowded, like, sometimes I'm there and I'm the only one there, other times there's people coming and going, and one time I was trying to activate and there was, like, motorcycles driving by, like, every 2 and if you're not from New Hampshire is pretty like live free or die. We have bike weekend in June. You don't have to wear a helmet. And I don't think the police really care about the pipes up here, even though there is some rules, but like everyone just has like straight. I don't even know
Mm.
if there is no, it's not a muffler, it's just a steel pipe or chrome pipe, and they're super loud. So you're trying to work a contact, and all of a sudden this guy comes flying down the road and you can hear his motorcycle going. It's people are like, "What was that?" I'm like, "Ah, it's just the motorcycle. Oh, relax, relax." All right, so you're looking, so it's marked down in near Groton
So
between
the
Pepperell
actual
and
trail
Groton.
mark yeah, marker is in Groton based off of the, Latin lawn, but the trail system runs pretty much all the way, parallel to, one of the, major I think it's a Hollis River, not sure exactly what the river is, but, it goes all the way into Pepperell and then up into, ending in Nashua, which is just over the border, but the parking lot area is pretty, unique in the sense that, you'll never, have to worry about space or whatever. Let me see if I can pull up a Google Earth or Google Street View. But similar, same scenario that I had with that you had mentioned was the I had actually gone to do an activation, uh, and when I did, one of the times that I showed up, the fire department was doing a uh, basically a training exercise with scuba gear and everything. So they had all of their apparatus in the entire parking lot. There was no way to park, and I'm sure if I, even thought about trying to set up my equipment, it would have been, the most horrible, opportunity for me to be able experience any radio play. But let me see if I can pull up a
So
map here.
I've been there when the DPW was, I don't know if they were cleaning or what, and they had their big trucks right in the way I was supposed to park. I'm like, "What? Like, where am
Yeah.
I gonna park?"
Yeah, so this is some of the pictures of the trail system, and you can see that it borders a lot of the neighborhoods and the like. So, from a park standpoint, there's plenty of parking spaces, and this actually is a second section in the Nashua side that's a little farther on down from the trailhead area, but still is accessible, although not really easy to set up an antenna per se and get out there. Whereas the main part of the park is very much accessible from that perspective. Let me see if I can pull up here. This is the part of rail trail river parking here. Let's see if I can grab that one. Yeah, this is gonna fight me. Come on, Google. Um, the overall, it's one of our favorite parks for sure. So let me see if I can grab Street View here. Come on. Nope, this is farther up. Yeah, so this is not even in the right area. But yeah, this is the only other place that I know of that's got at least street access that you can activate. And I've only activated here once, but it was kind of sketch because it looked like I was in a neighbor's property, in terms of trying to get access to it. Um, but yeah, I'll have to do a little digging here and see if I can grab the right address. So, yeah, so let's kind of talk a little bit. What's your thoughts around, how we can work towards getting this kilo? I mean, obviously, we're busy.
Right?
It's before the end of the year and our original
We need to
goal
retire, Eric. That's when we can get the kilo. We just need to have no other responsibilities.
yeah. Hey, good luck with that. That I wish.
Well, I think, just before we go into that, I just wanted to, I think this was the second park I activated with you. The first one we did is when I first got my general. We did a park down in Mass. Did we do
Mhm.
one or two? I think we might have done two. I think we did two on the way home.
Yeah,
Maybe
well oh, no, that very
no.
first time you had a
Yeah,
general, that
we
was
just did
1.
one. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. So we did that one. And then this one, the second one we did, we met up with Paul, KF4 TPY, and Paul and I showed up to the parking lot, and he's
mhm.
like, "You know what to do?" And I'm like, "Nope, I'm just gonna wait for Eric." And then Eric showed up, and we got all set up, and I think we used your radio because I don't even think I had a 891 yet.
No, you did.
That
Yeah, you had
I
891.
did.
That was
I
the
can't.
first radio you bought after you
Yeah,
were trying to figure out what you're gonna do for HR.
yeah, yeah, right. All right. So I had it, but I didn't. I don't know. We used your radio, and the three of us did it. And it was actually there's a picture on my website with the three of us. Like I don't know how we got this one. Either we took a selfie or we took a picture. I don't know how we did it. It's a good
Yep.
picture of the three of us. Doing the activation. I think it was a fall day, and it was a good time. And that's kind of was the start of it. And then I started going back more and more, and I really enjoyed. doing it. And I like doing it alone. I like doing it with, with friends and stuff. So, but how are we going to get it done, get it accomplished, and how's that going to work? You know,
That is the question of the day, my friend. So I guess, do you have a sense of what you want to do? Let's try to dissect it from there.
well, I got to get back to activating it. I'm really, I mean, so when I switched offices, so when I went back down, I was working in Manchester, New Hampshire, which is north of Nashua, and then I switched down to the Nashua office, and I didn't have much to do. So I had all this
Mhm.
free time. So I would say, "Oh, I'm going to take my lunch and go down, and we would go do I'd go do the rail trail, get some more contacts. Now it's like I don't even have time to eat lunch. Like if I eat lunch, it's like a miracle. Like half the time I'm like, oh, I just missed lunch. I'll just have dinner. Why not? So when I have the break or the time, that's when I'm going to try to do it. I always bring my gear with me. It's always in my Jeep, and I'm
Okay.
all ready to go. I just don't have, I even when I plan, I said, oh, I don't have much going on today. Something always happens. I got an emergency court hearing or whatever. So that's kind of my thing is I got to get back out there and just start doing it.
Okay. Well, the so timing is a thing. My other, I guess, thought or concern around that is there, maybe like, how I know some soda guys that are very diligent enough that they'll do like the get up at the 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning to go do a soda run and, activate, before everyone gets up. But I'm not in that boat. And nor am
Oh,
I going to roll
So,
to,
so you're gonna ask me to get up at 3? I mean,
no,
I
I'm
get
not.
no sleep anyway.
I know,
So the
right? Well,
few hours that I get, I can't afford to get up early to activate a park. I mean, I
I
would
would never
love
do
to
that.
do that, but
I
that
would
would be
never do
kind
that.
of tough.
Yeah.
But
So
go
with
ahead.
that, I guess basically the bottom line is that we know we've got to coordinate. Well, I don't know if we have to coordinate. So I guess maybe we can kind of attack this as a two-pronged effort. We both have about 580 contacts. Let's figure out what the math is. If we, how many days left do we have in the year? 20, 30, almost 31. Let's do the
You
little
want to get
calculation.
this done before the end of the year? Is that your
No, I just
goal?
wanna see how aggressive we can be if we wanted to be super aggressive in our, older years. So, we're short of 30, so 1, 2, 3, 4, so 34 days. And let me pull up a calculator here because I'm gonna have to really do the math. So we got 34 days. On average, we have 583 contacts. We divide that by 34 days. Well, we can't do 34 days because you have to minus the weekends because we're not going to be doing weekends. So it'd only be during the weekday, right? That we're thinking,
Yeah.
in these terms. So that's,
And for like an hour.
okay.
Now,
So,
I'm this week is not gonna be good for me because I
well,
have
you
to
only
go to
screwed up the timetable now. Come on.
well, I have to go to I'm going to Mississippi on Thursday and Friday. I gotta work Tuesday overnight. I gotta be up in Laconia tomorrow at 7 AM. Like, when am I gonna do this?
So we,
I gotta get my car inspected. I gotta get the tire on the Jeep put in, and I gotta get an oil change and an inspection all before Friday.
Okay, so I minused all our weekends, so you have the weekends to be able to do your oil changes and stuff like that. So that's about 10 days, 10 or so days, minus from the 34-day schedule. So that puts us down right around 24. If I divide that by the 583 contacts you already have, that's literally 24 activations you have to do, and then from there we'd have to calculate. Wait, let's see. So 583 on average. If you
And let's
got
not
30
forget that
contests,
we don't have sun. The sun doesn't
true.
come up till 7:30 and it gets dark at 4:30. So
So we divide that by, say, if we, we'll be nice to ourselves, and we'll only get 30 contacts each session. So if I figure if we have another 583 left to go, and doing 13 contacts, we only have to activate 19 times, maybe 20 times. So of that 24,
we've only done it 17.
I know, right? Well, so another 19, another 20, we'll round up here, another 20 more activations in the month of December if we wanted to end this. Otherwise, if we say, okay, realistically, we have one good week, maybe of 5 days, in the entire 34 days left of this year, and then going in, we'll probably get it done maybe in March or June.
Well,
Days.
I do have a lot of vacation time, so I could
Yeah,
just
yeah, I've been hearing that too.
if there's a nice day, like when we did the Rove,
7 Grove, yeah.
right? If there's a nice day, if it's gonna get up in the 50s or 60s and sunny and not windy, I might
Okay.
just take a day off and just park my ass there and see
So
how
so
many I could get.
in that formula, we're just going to work a whole 8 hours trying to get up to your extra 500 contacts. Now, if I most hunters on average, I know if they're doing like a 4 hour run, at a park, they're usually pulling about 120 to 180 contacts, roughly. I mean, some of them are really good, some of them, in the middle. So, you know, you could cut that time down into, only having to do 8 sessions, if you're pulling 100 contacts,
Well,
so,
I think if you and I did it together, I think the strategy would be set up one antenna 10 meters, work 10 meters till it's dead, then jump to 20,
okay.
work 20 meters till we don't hear anyone anymore. And then while we're setting up, while you will have two antennas, right? 10-meter, you'll set up the 20-meter one, then we could easily switch. And then while we're in the middle, if we get a low, set it the other one back up to 40 meters. And then I think we would be good. Because I always find like I work all the stations and there's no more hunters anymore. So if
Right.
I do a long one, it's like they're not there. They're there, but I've already worked them all.
Right. Well, and
So
between all of our 583 contacts, most of those hunters, we've got 1,000 of how many are in the entire POTA program that want that park. So,
right.
that would be the interesting number to see. I wish there was a stat, there was a way to pull on how many people actually need that park, so you can find out whether it's more valuable or less valuable on the scale. But yeah, okay. Man, so we might have to tackle this, independently till we get to what do we think like, do we want to be within 10 contacts before we hit kilo and then we get
Oh,
together and do the live show
I
or
I think we gotta get to like maybe 50.
okay.
Because
So,
if we're gonna do, I mean, if we're gonna do the break the kilo, we're not gonna be there for an hour and run it out. We're gonna have to do it on a time we can have time to be there.
okay. So the last push of our
So
kilo
so
is going to be like,
9:50 we come back. That's when we get together.
okay. So,
And try not and maybe what we gotta do is just say we're gonna go up to 9:50 and stop, even if you're in a pile up. Because you know
okay.
how it gets, right? You get in a pile
just,
up, you sit there, and
just be like,
I
sorry
won't be
guys,
paying
I'm
it
done.
I won't be paying attention. Next thing you know, I'll be like, "Oh, shit, I got 1,000 contacts. Eric's gonna kill me."
Yes, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm creeping up on 950.
Yeah,
All of a sudden, where'd he
yeah.
go? Where'd
"Gotta
he
go,
go? Where'd he
guys."
go?
Yeah.
I won't even give a warning at that point. I'll just go away and pack it up and be
Yeah.
like, the band just died all of a sudden. So speaking of bands, we're really like banking on the fact that we're gonna hope the solar cycle continues well, into 2024 as what have we already gotten so far. Um, that's my fear is that we're like, okay, we're aggressive and we're thinking, okay, we can get this done. We build up to 950 and then 950, all of a sudden you're getting hit with multiple solar flares for 4 weeks, 5 weeks straight on. It
Yeah, and then,
could be
it'll be
horrible.
barely activating the park. We'll be there for, like, 3 hours to get
Oh,
10 that would be the
that's
worst.
going to be the way the live stream will play out, right?
Mhm. We'll be there
It'll be like,
forever.
been here
10-hour live stream.
live, the live stream. Will they do it? No, they gave up.
Yeah.
Oh man. So, okay. So realistically, I'm thinking probably from my time to shall we put a little wager out there when we think we want to shoot for, maybe as a either New Year's resolution goal or maybe we set up a pool. Maybe we start a pool. That would be actually interesting to do. We'll leave this to the audience. We'll do a pool. How and when do you think both Todd and I will be at that 950 mark by date? It doesn't have to be up to the minute. I'd say by day. I mean, give or take. When do you think? And the one that's closest, we'll have to, both. I think we'll definitely have to give a shout out and a award or T-shirt or something to the guys that help us do the dual kilo and push us over the edge. But we should also, the one who wins the pool, the office
Yeah.
pool here. So you up for that?
Oh, I'm up for it.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'm gonna say that when's the first day of spring?
good question. It's probably April, May timeframe.
So whatever the first day of spring is, April, May,
That's when you're thinking.
We'll say May 1st. Let's just say May
Okay.
1st, make it simple.
So
I
you're
think
hearing it. It says May.
I'm gonna say by May 1st, we'll be at the 950 mark because I'm gonna push myself to at least try to do some activations there on my little bit of free time that I have. In the winter, things do quiet down for me a little bit, and if it's crappy day out and I can sit in my Jeep and do it. No big
Yep.
deal.
Okay. Well, for me, it's going to be a little easier because I'm moving my 891 into my truck, and doing a whole.
And you
And
got
I have
the
the ATAS 120, so it's really just gonna be tough first world problems for me to pull up to the park. My biggest so the biggest problem with the ATAS, I can't say it's all roses and unicorns because my ATAS does really well for the functionality of it being where it is and the truck and the antenna and the compromising side of effects. But there are times that I really wish it would be a little like better, like my Wolfer recoil. Like I've been able to set my Wolfer recoil out there in the parking lot and I can hit us, way farther, hear a lot more farther out and hit, more contacts, with stronger signals than the ATAS. But the ATAS gives me the comfort and flexibility of just, being able to tune, and I can do any band. So maybe when we have the downturns, it might, benefit me there, when, 15 or, 17 might need to put me over on the, activation kind of standpoint. Do we want to target maybe a band or we just want to leave it open like we've been doing? Because you've been doing a lot of 20 on that, right? If I pull up the
Yeah,
site.
yeah, I've done a lot of 20. I really like doing 10 meters though. 10 meters is my favorite POTA band. Ever since we did that park um by that dam and I tried 10 meters, I always start off with 10.
You've been
And
hooked.
yeah, so I mean I'm always gonna start with 10 and see how it goes, but yeah, 20 meters is the one I've done the most in.
Yeah, I mean, that tends to.
I don't even know if I've done 10 at this park.
No,
I have to
I was actually looking it up. I can't see. You'd have to go in your own
yeah,
stats to see what it looks like, but I know all of mine on the park has been sideband only, 20 meters. I haven't done FT8, and I'm probably going actually, that's not entirely true. I think I did FT8 once, but it was a failed activation, which didn't help. And so that, obviously I got the hunter credit, but it doesn't, apply in terms of, my overall activation, count.
right.
But
But
okay.
if you don't activate the park, do you still get credits for like you made the contacts in that park?
The contacts, to the overall score because I know if I look
Uh,
at my
Like
number,
if you have 500 contacts and you go to a park and you make 9, and you don't activate it, you get 509 for that park, or does it not count?
no, yeah, you get, um,
You get the
lem
contacts, but not the
yeah, let me look
like
because,
I've been pretty stubborn. I don't leave until I activate the park. And I
oh,
sat in a park in
you're
Connecticut.
dedicated. Alright,
Oh,
let
no,
me
in Rhode Island. I sat in a park in Rhode Island. It was basically at the end of this neighborhood where I was at the trailhead of this dense wooded forest,
mhm.
and it took me 2.5 hours to get 10 contacts, and I just wasn't leaving. I'm like, "I'm not leaving. I don't care.
Yeah, I
Someone's
can't
gonna
say.
answer me."
Okay, so I did one park where I netted 2 contacts. It wasn't, Nashua Rail Trail. Um, it was 2 phone contacts. I think for the purposes of the park, yeah, I got the 2 contacts. It shows me with the 2 contacts, but it shows me as a failed activation. So, in essence, I don't get the credit for the activating of the park, but the contacts I get, the points for the park.
Paddington. Right,
So, because it's sort of like I'm hunting, so I guess that's
right.
kind of how it's treated. But okay, so yeah, that'll be interesting. I went back to the rail trail and looked at all of my numbers. I've never not like you said, I've never not left that park activating it. I mean, it's just kind of been the
And,
thing.
it's a good park because there's really not a lot of noise, even though you're close to the
Neighborhoods.
neighborhoods and stuff. I haven't had any problem with like a lot of noise or anything. And I've had good signals. Like I said, that one time I got that guy from Alaska, and I need Alaska to work all states. And I was like, "You're not in a park, are you? This isn't a park to park." He goes, "Nope." I think he was in North. I think it's called North Pole, Alaska. It's like in
Wow.
the middle of the state, and it's like this little I'm
Yeah,
like I looked
podunk
him up, I was
sounds.
like, "Oh my god," I'm like, "What do you do up there besides activate or
Research.
do ham radio? Because there's really nothing out there." But
That
yeah,
is a
so
great.
it's a good park, and, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be fun when we finally get it. We'll have to definitely celebrate because,
Okay, so
you know and
we got
go
an
ahead.
office poll. We got an office poll going on. So the office
Yeah.
poll is good. I know we'll advertise this more in future episodes, but we'll
And we'll
post it on
update
our
you
website.
as we start activating it more and more and, let
We'll
everybody
create a
know.
special page on our website. So head over to livefreeandham.com, look for a new link there on the road to the kilos, we'll call it, or something, and we'll track some of the progress there on that and keep people updated. And if you want in on the the office pool, let me know and fill out that form. I'll create a form up there and we'll get people in and involved, and there'll be a special prize at the end. We'll have to figure out what that looks like, but yeah, definitely it'd be fun to do that. But yeah, so you're thinking May timeframe or early late April for when we think we're gonna hit the 950 mark. Let
I mean,
me answer.
it really depends on what the weather's going to be like this winter. I mean, if we're getting blizzard upon blizzard, it might be more difficult. But if we have a mild winter, yeah, I could see
I'm
myself.
thinking June. I'm thinking like maybe the week before field day because that usually ramps us up.
Week before field day.
uh,
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
we won't have anything going on before that. Like, we don't have to prepare for field day or anything. Yeah.
no, well, I know I do, but I'd have to say if I go back, the earliest time we activated that park was 2021 September on the 8th, and that's the earliest date I have in my logs for activating that park. And so yeah, that puts us 3 months ahead of actually, like, doing a full circle of a 3-year time frame to activate the or no, 4-year at that point because we're 2024, so it'd be 4 years for us to
Oh
get a kilo. That hurts.
yeah, that doesn't sound so good.
No,
I
so
see some of these other YouTubers and like they got kilos upon kilos upon kilos, and I'm like, how do you do that?
yeah, we have to grab somebody, we'll have to bring somebody on because maybe that's the secret sauce that we don't have, and, those are the keys that we need to be able to push us over that next mark.
Yeah, like K Murder. How does he do it? He's
Well,
got like Huntsville State Park. He's got like 5,000 contacts.
K Murder's probably the not the he's maybe the exception to the sense because he's got great weather no matter what. They barely get snow out there. Maybe if they're lucky, they'll get a 20-year ice storm every once in a while. But
Right.
he's 5 minutes away from that main park that he activates. He literally could walk there, but he drives,
Oh,
and
he does live
uh,
close to it.
and he
That
does
close.
all of his activations when he also does reviews and stuff like that for antennas. So he's already doing like, he's doing stuff for the channel and then he's just, activating the park. So, hey, I'm at 783 contacts with the Reed's Ferry Forest, which is literally 5 minutes down the road. So there you go. I mean, if I actually decided to do a little bit more activating, I could probably get that park done in, record time.
That's not a good park though. That's like on the side of the road. It's always buggy and yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I
and
did
for
it.
783 contacts, that's pretty good. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
that's smack in a neighborhood right underneath a transformer on a pole with, your antennas. So, yeah, it's
So yeah.
crazy.
So let's do that. Let's see what we'll keep people updated on how we're doing, and we'll get this thing done, and then we'll
Okay.
have to pick another park to do.
You're ambitious.
We gotta just keep. I mean, we can't just stop.
No, dude, I'm not gonna stop playing Poda, but at the same time, I might take a little bit of a breather, relish in my, kilo there, and then, I think, okay, let's like
I
extend
wonder.
the.
I wonder how many. I wonder how many people do POTA and how many people actually have the Kilo Award.
There's quite a few. I know. Well, I can't remember. It's N1 or N3 NWK. I can't remember who he is. I've seen his call pop up a lot. I was looking at his profile, and he's freaking ridiculous in terms of how many kilos. But he's doing activations everywhere and anywhere.
When
I don't
you
know.
get it, as you do another kilo, do they just add that to the award, like the
Oh
part
yeah,
number? So they
it,
just
it's
keep.
like it's like the roves. Like you do 5 rows, you get the warthog. If you do 10, you get the next level up. That's that kind of like reiteration of next goal. So I'm actually curious. N3. Let me see if I can find him. But search for client N3 NWK. Let's see what I got here. Uh, Dang it! Why? Maybe I get his call backwards. I have to go look for it in the logs. Where is it? Anyway, N2.
I bet you if we do it live, I bet you we'll get a lot of the club members to show up, cheer us on.
So he's from Delaware. He has over 7,000 activations, 78 parks, 21,000, no, 219,664 QSOs. He has how
Just on
many
Parks on the Air,
parks on the air? He
he's
has,
activating.
yeah, he is literally trying to find he has up to 1,000 kilos. 1,000. So that's
He's a
a thousand,
1,000 kilos.
a
Like he's
thousand
done the Kilo
kilos.
Award 1,000 times.
Yes. Based off the way I see
All right, we need to get him on. We need to get him on the show. I want to talk to this guy. Did he like
He-
win the lottery and that's all he does? Like, come on.
He's out of Maryland. His name is Dell, and his call sign is November to November Whiskey Kilo.
All right,
Um,
Dell, you need to contact us if you're watching this
Listening, yeah.
podcast or watching us on YouTube because we need to get you on here. I want to pick your brain. That's incredible.
21,000. Yeah, it's almost comical to look at his hunter scores because his hunter, he has a total of 8,300 contacts where he's literally 219,000 QSOs.
Wow.
Wow.
I only
Crazy.
have I don't even have 8,000 total
Now, my
USO
numbers are like
contacts.
small. I'm almost ashamed to share my numbers on what they look like. I mean, I'm like at 93 parks, 186 activations, and only 6,000 contacts. I mean, that's a day for him in his
I
overall
know.
picture.
Yeah. Well, I'm working on, my state. So, like I said, I'm going next week or this Thursday. I'm heading down to Mississippi. I got to go see this kid. And then I'm going to cruise over to Louisiana. I got a park picked out. And then if it's not too far, I'm going to drive north to Arkansas,
Mm,
pick a
yeah,
park there, and then hopefully get back to Mississippi and try to get 3 done. Definitely, I want to get those 2 because I don't have Louisiana and Arkansas, and I don't think I'm ever going to be going down there ever again. So if I don't get them,
you're never gonna get them. Yep,
well, don't say never because I might just be able to take a
pull it
longer
off again.
stretch and do a road trip. I'd like to do that. I think that would be fun. You and I
Is that
take like a
really where
week.
you want to do a road trip through? I don't
What?
think so. Is that really where you want to do a road trip to?
Well, no, but if just working our way south and picking off states, just boom, boom, like get one of those
I think a
campers.
road trip for us would be wonderful, like to do the Maryland, the Delaware, the Pennsylvania, kind of that little lower
Yeah,
loop of like, the
West
outskirts of New England
Virginia, West Virginia,
and just hit
kind of
all of
do
those
New
along the way and
Jersey.
figure out,
Yeah,
oh man, we'll have to retire sooner than later. Let's work on getting our millions
yeah.
because we're gonna need
I,
it for all we're gonna do.
I drive every night I go to work. I drive by, and every night I come home, I drive by the Powerball and what's the
All
other
the
one?
signs, yeah. Yeah,
Mega
the
Millions,
Mega
and
Millions,
they're both around like 300 and something million.
which is good enough.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I don't want a billion. I don't need a billion. I'm all good.
But once it gets close to the billion, then more and more people buy into it, and then it grows faster, but it takes a long time. Like it's been like this for weeks.
The strategies of the
Once
photo
it
guy.
gets to normally once it gets to 500 million, then people start playing and it gets close to the billion. But yeah, 300 million, that would be easy.
Yep, easy.
We could hire a driver to even drive us.
Oh, dude, yeah, we'll just get RVs and we'll go. Big
Yeah,
motorhomes on wheels. Tell the wife
yeah,
to take a vacation, a
yeah,
long
yeah,
one. Cool. All right. Well, that's so.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
where we're at.
yeah. Let's wrap this up. So if you guys are interested, if you want to leave us some comments or whatever, if you've done kilos, what you thought about this podcast, what do you think about us trying to do it together? Is it a cool idea, dumb idea? Really, it wasn't anything that we set out to do in the beginning, but as we were working this park and making these contacts, we decided that it's a good kind of plan for us, and this is something we put on our bucket list. So we're not going to quit until it's done. And yeah, so let us know what you think. Leave us a comment, send us an email, and we'd love to get back to you and let you know what you thought. And what was that guy's name?
Dell.
Dell in Maryland. Please contact us because I want you on this show. I might even email you and say you need to come on our podcast.
Figure
I want
out
to know about you're the POTA master.
trade secrets. Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen. Thank you guys for coming on today, listening to us, and joining the show. You can reach us at livefreeandham.com, and please hit like and subscribe to our podcast, and you'll be able to get our alerts. And again, thank you for listening, and have a great day or evening whenever you're watching this.
All right.
Eric, you have anything to say?
No, we're good, man.
All right. 73 guys.